your girls, grab your beers.
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.
Fasten your seatbelts.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle. And real quick housekeeping note, if you are watching us on YouTube, on Rumble, on BitChute, or Odyssey, please hit that follow and subscribe button. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple, Google, or whatever podcast platform you use, please hit that follow and subscribe button, so we can continue to bring you conversations like the one I'm about to bring you right now. We're talking with Matt James from the band Blacktop Mojo. What's going on, Matt?
Oh, not much, man. What's going on with you?
Oh, you know, been busy, but you know, it's better to be busy than you know, idle hands, you know.
Absolutely.
But hey, so usually when I have somebody on for the first time, I like to get a quick background. So do you remember originally what did you want to be when you grew up?
I thought I wanted to be a doctor, and actually went pre-med in college and everything, but started a rock band immediately after, so did not go to medical school.
Yeah, you probably made the better choice. I mean, you might experience some disgusting things on the road, but you know,
That's true.
not as much as the doctors have to deal with, I'm sure. But and then what do you remember?
Right,
you remember you know, your earliest memories of like music and like what attracted you, and you know, who are some of the artists that kind of you got into that lit your fire?
Man, my parents always just listened to, I mean, I grew up on like classic rock and stuff like that. So, I mean, Van Halen, AC/DC, your typical classic rock acts. And yeah, my mom had all these CDs, you know, there's like Time Life collection CDs, like Monsters of Rock, or like she had a Southern rock one called Going South that had like Skinner and the Doobie Brothers and 38 Special and all that kind of shit on there. And I don't know, man. I always just remembered all the words to all the songs. I remember she was always impressed with that. So that kind of, I don't know. I just always loved knowing all the words.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. So you've always kind of been like a lyric guy yourself, man. That's sort of like growing up. It's always been like, you know, I love the music and stuff, but sometimes it's like the message I always got into. I always needed to like read the liner notes. Okay, what's he saying here, and how am I connecting with that? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I miss
I think,
albums and CDs. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Ironically, now I forget words to my own songs on stage sometimes, but no. No, that was kind of. I guess that was kind of always the start. Just listening to my parents' music, kind of like anybody else. And then as I got older, I got into. I had some buddies that were into like '90s grunge and like some country stuff. Actually, I grew up in a really small town, so the only radio station that came through in my bedroom was a country station. So I would listen to country music every morning, getting ready for school. And, yeah, man.
And then you said being like, yeah, and you said being kind of like a lyric guy, you know. So you like to sing along with a lot of the songs. Is that when you kind of discovered your voice?
Actually, First time I sang in front of anybody, I was the lion in the fifth grade school play, and my mom was a teacher's assistant at the elementary school I went to, and the lady that she was assistant was one of the, I guess you'd call it judges for the audition or whatever. They had like a panel of teacher judges, but she came to my mom and she was like, "Your boy can sing," and I got the part. I was the lion, so that was the first time. And then
Nice.
I didn't really sing in front of anybody. I got into sports and stuff growing up, so I didn't really sing in front of anybody until I was like 17, 18 years old.
And then around that time, did you start? Did you, like, when you were in high school and stuff? Did you find other like-minded individuals and start a band early?
No, man. Blacktop Mojo is actually the first and only band I've ever been in. So we didn't start that till I was out of college.
Okay, yeah. So, so then you just, then you kind of stuck with the original plan. You were going to go to medical school or whatever, and you went off to college. But I mean, were you always like kind of, I don't know, hitting the karaoke bars or anything like that?
No, I was definitely the annoying guy at parties that would bring the acoustic guitar and sing in the corner.
The air guitar? Yeah.
No, I'd bring my acoustic guitar and sing in the corner, and yeah, I was that guy.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. And then when was it that like Blacktop Mojo kind of came together for you?
The drummer Nathan and we started the band in 2012, like at the very end of 2012. Our first show was actually the night that the world was supposed to end, according to the Mayan calendar or whatever, the December 21st of 2012.
Nice.
So that's easy. It's easy to remember.
Yeah, you're like, well, I'm a little nervous about performing, but if the world ends, I don't have to worry about it,
Exactly.
And what was like that music scene like growing up around you?
I mean, few and far between, man. We had like a lot of like dance hall type of bars, honky tonk type of bars around us. So that's kind of what we played in when we were starting out. Or we play like cover band stuff. We play like cover band sets where you play for like 4 hours at a time and maybe mix in a little original tune every now and then. And but yeah, we just kind of play here and there and everywhere. And then whenever we decided we were going to be like a rock band, and we were going to play rock music, we started traveling on the like every weekend for shows. So that was we kind of
broke up there
in both of those things. Oh yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. But you said you guys traveled out somewhere for shows. I didn't hear where.
Oh, Dallas and Houston. Sorry, man. Yeah. We'd have to travel to the bigger cities and stuff. Once we started playing, like decided we were a rock band, quote unquote. So.
Yeah. So the Mayans kind of decided for you. The world didn't end, so you had to go continue and get out there and hit the road, man, and take it serious.
Yeah.
And then you guys were kind of like, as you started like getting away from covers and kind of building your own name out there. I guess I read you were coined the Texas grunge. What was like, the early days like getting outside and, picking up and building a name for yourself? What was that like?
It could be pretty rough, man, when you're a newer original band. You got to go in the clubs. Some clubs are like pay to play, or like, you show up you're not really making any money, so you're kind of scraping together gas money just to get to the gig and stuff like that. And just trying to get people through the door. They would take like a tally at the door at a lot of the clubs we play, and you'd only get paid a certain amount, like based on, you had
who came to see you. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes you could barely cover the parking or whatever for the parking the van. But it was a good time, man. It was we made a lot of friends back then, and as we started going back around to some of the same clubs and stuff, we made friends with the door guys. We learned to make friends with the door guys so that they would, they'd count some of the walk-ups as extra tallies in our column or whatever. But yeah.
Yep, exactly. It's all about networking. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about who you know. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when was it like where things started kind of you started catching the eye of people and getting on the on the bigger tours and stuff?
Let's see. I think after we did our second record, we got kind of hooked up with our first manager, and he told us that we needed to go to radio with our first single from that record, and he booked us basically like an old school radio tour where you show up in the morning every morning at a radio station in whatever town you're playing in, and kind of trade. Basically, we didn't get paid for the shows, but you traded playing a show in the town for airtime on the radio or whatever kind of deal. And then just hope you sell T-shirts so you can get to the next town.
Yeah, but I mean that's a good way to catch more ears on the radio. People hear you and be like, "Man, I want to go see them live."
Yeah, for sure, man. It was a good little first tour, man. It was just 60 straight days in a stinky church van. So it was a good time.
Yeah. And then, same thing, kind of each town, try and network and get to know people and, get to know some of the fans in the area that, or maybe other bands that are playing and trade gigs, stuff like that, basically.
For sure. There's still people that we met on that tour that come to our shows today still that we still hang out with. So it's, I'd say it went well, man. You gotta, you might get 10 people the first time you go somewhere, and then the next time maybe they bring a friend, you get 20, and, keep going back, and hopefully you're building like that. So. Yeah,
exactly. And now, you've got a couple albums under your belt, and, I was going down the rabbit hole, checking out a lot of the music videos and stuff. Like Wicked Woman was definitely very entertaining. I especially like the intermission deal, at the market, like watching a little Tarantino or something movie or whatever. But you want to talk a little bit about the concept of making that video?
Yeah, man. We kind of just wanted to make I love like campy horror films and stuff like that. So kind of just wanted to make a little campy slasher film. And we went out in the woods on this property of these friends of ours that we know here in East Texas. And we just spent 2 straight nights just staying up all night shooting basically this dumb little horror movie.
And then, it was very entertaining. Definitely encourage our listeners to check it out on YouTube. But, another thing that caught my eye, and the friend at the school that went to your, got in your mom's ear and said, you have quite a voice on you, was, hearing your cover of Dream On by Aerosmith. I mean, that was quite a challenge, and you did an amazing job, man. Nailed it.
Thank you, bro.
Was that always one of your favorites kind of growing up?
I always heard it on the radio. Like I said, I grew up on classic rock. So, Aerosmith is, they're the tippity top of the pyramid when it comes to those bands. And, so definitely always been a fan. That cover kind of came together by happenstance. It was one of our buddies were like, man, you should cover this song. And we were like, I think you're wrong about that. 'Cause nobody should try to touch Steven Tyler's, but we did it, and we went out in this little studio by us and tried it out just to see what would happen. And we played it for some of our friends and family, and they didn't hate it, so we just decided to put it on YouTube, and then it kind of grew some legs. Yeah.
Yeah. You did it. It didn't suck. I thought it was amazing, and definitely caught grew some legs. And then another, classic, especially for, if you're driving and hit some air drums on the steering wheel, is your cover of In the Air Tonight, was really good too.
Thanks, man. That one was also kind of by happenstance. We were picking our bass player, Kat, who's playing guitar in that video. We were picking him up from the airport in Dallas, and we got some friends that own a distillery up in Fort Worth, so we decided, of course, to swing by on the way home, by the distillery, because we like sampling their wares, They make great whiskey up there. So,
Nice.
they took us through. We were drinking like all afternoon there, so we were feeling pretty lit by the time we shot that little video. And they took us. They said, "Do you guys want the haunted tour of the distillery? Because they give tours and stuff." But I was like, "The haunted tour? What are you talking about?" So they take us down these old like abandoned hallways that they don't use and stuff. Because it used to be like a ranch style bean factory or something back in like the 1920s. So there's all these little parts of the building that they don't really use anymore, and that big silo that we shot was one of them. But we walked in, and it was one of those rooms where you're just like, hello. We were like, oh man, do we have a guitar in the van? Because this would be really cool to do something in here. And that was just happened to be the first thing that came out, and it
it sounded.
We definitely didn't plan on
great,
doing anything with it, because if you watch the video on YouTube, our guitar player is filming the video, and he's talking for like the first minute and a half of the whole video. You know what I mean? So you can fast forward through that to get to the song. But yeah, we were definitely just goofing around.
Well, yeah, no, it was organic too, so people could listen to it and say, "Well, this is legit, man." It's in the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, you guys have been working on a new album that's set to drop next year, I believe. Pollen.
Yes, sir.
I believe is the name for it. What's the inspiration behind that, other than we've had a really horrible allergy season this summer?
Yeah. We figured everybody'd be allergic to it. No. Basically, like the time of year that we're dropping it, we're from a little town in East Texas called Palestine, and basically the time of year that we're dropping this record, everything is covered in pollen down here. Like it looks like yellow snow. Not that kind of yellow snow, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's just yellow powder on everything. So we thought, it's kind of a cool little nod to where we're from and the kind of music we make and stuff.
Gotcha. And what can fans of Blacktop Mojo expect to hear with this album?
Man, I think we're doing things a little different on this record for sure. I think the songs are there's going to be some unexpected stuff on here for people that have followed us for a long time. Hopefully not in a bad way. We're definitely experimenting with some different sounds and stuff. This is the first record that we've made where we all didn't live in the same house. So like up to our last record, even we all lived in the same house, like especially during COVID, and we couldn't tour. So we would all just get together and, write songs pretty much every day, every other day. And we had plenty of time to just hash out all these songs and stuff. Whereas this record, we really just took some really basic ideas into the studio and kind of flushed them out the day of, just kind of tried to get the creative juices flowing in the studio. And that's kind of how the songs ended up. We didn't have 6 months or a year or whatever to pick them all apart and make them all perfect. That we just kind of let them come together organically on this one.
Gotcha. And then, you guys get ready to hit the road again here. Can fans expect to maybe get a little nugget of something from the new stuff?
Yeah, there's actually, if you pre-order the record, you can get a song that we never released, called What Have You Done, that you can only get if you do pre-order the record. We're we're not going to put it on any of the streaming platforms or anything. So this would be a special little kind of collector's nugget for anybody that pre-orders the album. You'll be the only one that has the song. So
nice. But will you be playing anything new live on the road?
yeah, man. We've been rehearsing some of the newer stuff, and I'm sure we'll break out a tune or two here and there.
Nice. Yeah, you guys are going to be in my neck of the woods in the Cleveland area on July 26th, playing the Winchester. I know you guys are familiar with that venue, and it'll be my friends of mine, local boys, the Mighty Vultan. I decided to represent for this interview. They're going to be opening up for you on that night, but so yeah, definitely check them out. They got a bass player that's pretty amazing, or has a unique bass guitar. But
I got you.
Yeah, but
yeah, man, we'll definitely have to check them out. I think this will be our, I want to say, third or fourth time back into Winchester. So yeah, excited to come back.
Yeah, man, and I definitely would have loved to have been there myself. I actually got vacation planned that week, so I'm going to miss out. But my buddy Dominic plays in Vultan. He's a really good dude. He does internet radio shows and stuff like that too. So connect with him. But with everything else, you guys you have seem to like to make a I guess a presence on social media, so I definitely encourage people, especially to follow your YouTube channel. But you've done some tour diaries in the past. Will you be doing some more of those on this one?
Oh yeah, for sure. We do those every tour, man. So like we have a Patreon just for that little snippet. If people like behind the scenes type of stuff, there's a bunch of footage of us getting drunk and singing karaoke on our bus, and just a bunch of weird little random moments from tours, from like the time we were in Colorado in the dead of winter and our generator shut down going through the Rocky Mountains, and it got mighty cold on the bus. We had to snuggle with each other a little bit. Nice. Everything from that to show footage and all kinds of different stuff, man. So it's
well, that's
cool.
good for when you guys pull the curtain back a little bit and let the fans see, hey, we're just regular guys that deal with and this is what road life can be like. You don't know what to expect.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's not near as glamorous as everybody thinks it is sometimes, man. It's
no, not at all.
But it is fun. But it is fun.
I noticed you got a boat behind you. That yours?
No. That's I'm at my grandparents' house right now, actually. This is my granddad's boat.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I wish it was
get out and fish once in a while when you're not on tour.
Every now and then. It's been a while. I'm planning on going this weekend though, actually. So I'm pretty excited about that. Break out the rod and reel.
Nice. And then, I was curious too, because I seen that some of your past releases you've been on. I'm curious about Come On Records. Is the new one going to be out on that too? And tell me about Come On Records.
Yeah.
Am I saying it right?
Yeah. So that was when we did that radio tour I was talking about earlier. Our manager was like, we weren't on a record label. We've always been independent. So our manager at the time was like, you need to make up a record label name so that because it looks better than just putting your song out there and it just saying like independent artist or whatever next to in the label spot, like when you're on the charts and stuff like that, or when a program director looks at the sheet, they're like, okay, so and so records. So Come On was just something that we used to say all the time. Somebody be like, you want to go to the bar? And you'd be like, come on. And so Come On Records.
I love it.
Actually, our little label imprint. So
that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
And then, so this tour is getting ready to start up here like what in a couple weeks now. What can fans expect from or why should fans come out and definitely catch this one?
We'll definitely be playing some new songs. We've been working on our show a little bit. We got some more production. We got some more lights and stuff. We got a cool little show we put together, man. So it'll be a good time, especially if you like good old fashioned rock and roll. You know, no tracks, just 5 guys, just hammered in it on stage.
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of good old fashioned rock and roll. You know, not overproduced, not artificial. It seems like everything's going electronic, man. I love hearing the raw stuff, man. So I'm gonna definitely have to catch you guys next time through.
Definitely,
and Winchester's got a good sound to it. It's a good venue, man.
Oh yeah, it's always fun, man.
But so other than like preparing for the release of Pollen, what else is Blacktop Mojo? What other stuff do you guys got in the works, or what other goals do you have?
Well, pretty much just that. That's the big goal right now. Is finishing up this record, and we're doing a pre-order online for anybody that is into that sort of thing. But yeah, finishing up the record here the rest of the year. We'll probably go back out, do some more recording once we get back from the tour, and then I think we'll have another little tour run in the fall, toward the end of the year, and yeah, we'll see where this new record takes us.
Awesome. And then, I mean, you've been doing this for a little while, but there's always, more stuff that there's some things that don't surprise you anymore, being in the music industry. And then there's still things that you can learn from. What's something you still feel you can improve and learn on?
I don't know. Definitely always trying to improve my singing. Trying to work on that, get better. Trying to be a better front man. Not say so much like I'm doing right now when I'm talking in the microphone. I did it again.
That's all right, man. I'm still doing it. I'm supposed to be an interviewer, so
once you start on the train, you just kind of shit out of luck. But yeah, definitely that. Definitely social media is such a big, important part of being in a band or doing any kind of creative stuff nowadays. So just trying to get better at that, since it's always changing. It seems like there's always some new little rule or something that you got to do to stay in front of people on that. So
yeah, definitely. That's something I need to work on too, man. It's like trying to build that social media presence, and like, I'd always see people like record themselves doing whatever, and I'd be like, man, are you really that self-important that you feel like whatever you have to, but I get why you do it now, why people, I need to get out there and step out of my comfort zone and just be like, all right, well, I'm going to this tour, I'm going to this festival. Hope to see you there. If I want to build my brand, like it or not, I'm the guy doing the interviews. So I guess I got to believe in myself enough to put myself out there, so. Yeah,
man, you're the guy.
Yeah. Even at 50 years old, I'm asking my daughters all the time, hey, how do I make a TikToker or whatever?
There you go.
Just as long as I don't have to dance or anything, I'll sit there and talk. But
hey man, be surprised at how well the dancers do. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And then, I want to ask, some of the questions I normally ask guests that I have on here. If you could go back and talk to, give some advice to 12-year-old self, what would it be?
Let me see. Don't quit. I mean, it's going to get tough, but don't quit.
Yeah. That reminds me too. It's so I want to go back a little bit and ask a little bit. I mean, you were in college, getting ready to go to med school. Did you finish the original, college that you were going for? What was it, pre-med or whatever?
Yeah. I ended up. So I played football for a couple years in college there, and then I got too many concussions. Beat my head around too many times, and had to quit. And after that, by then I already kind of knew I wanted to do something with music a little bit. And I told my dad, and he was like, please just finish school, and then you can do whatever you want. So I basically
had that degree to fall back on, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then, so I just finished school as fast as I could. I took as many classes as was humanly possible at the time. And I think I took like 22 hours of my last semester, which I think the max you can take is 24, maybe. And a full load's like 12. So I took a double load my last semester and then a couple of summer classes and graduated really fast. And then
and had the band already kind of been playing before that then, right? While you were in college?
No, we didn't form until after I graduated college at the beginning of summer of 2012, and Nathan and I, we didn't even meet until I'd say fall of 2012. But I just started. I was working with my buddy's uncle owned a coffee shop in town, and he put me in charge of like booking acoustic acts and stuff for the coffee shop. And then he was like, and then he knew I played music. He was like, if you can't find anybody, then you can just fill the time or whatever. And so a lot of days I just ended up not finding anybody. Cause cause playing music was a lot more fun than making coffee and sandwiches and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool though, because I mean, you didn't really have anything definitely set, but you bet on yourself. You know, you took that chance. I mean, you did. You respected what your father asked for, and that's kind of been the same thing. Like my oldest daughter wants to get into music, and I'm like, well, get your college degree first, and maybe take some music business classes to cover your ass. You know, but I
wish I'd have done that for sure. That was, we've had to learn everything by trial and error, so that's definitely the harder way.
But I mean, obviously you believed in yourself enough, and you knew you had the pipe, so you stepped out in faith, and then doors started opening eventually. And then when did you from the coffee shop kind of meet your bandmates?
I met Nathan through like some mutual friends, and we'd run into each other. We live in a town of less than 20,000 people, so we'd run into each other at the bar. There's like one or two bars in town, We'd run into each other, and people would be like, he can play the drums and he can sing, you guys should start a band. And we'd always be like, yeah, whatever, man, because people say that to you all the time when they find out you play music, I guess. And then we ended up hammered drunk and running into each other at some concert at a town close to us. And I was like, hey, man, I'm playing at the coffee shop tomorrow. You should come check it out. And luckily he was drunk enough to agree to come and not drunk enough to forget that I asked him. So he showed up the next day and watched me play. And he invited me back to his house after that. And I showed up with a bottle of whiskey, and we just sat on his back porch and talked about starting a band.
Awesome.
So kind of how it happened. And then we just started taking every little gig we could find. And I called a buddy of mine that I knew played he played metal when we were in high school. And so I thought he could play like lead guitar and stuff. And Nathan called a buddy of his that he knew played guitar, and we put him on the bass. And then we just started gigging around as much as we could, and had a bunch of member changes here and there, and kind of have grown. Now we're sitting at over 10 years later, so kind of grown into what we have today. So
nice. And then who came up with the name Blacktop Mojo?
I did. I pulled up at his house one day waiting for him to get off of work. He worked at a flooring store at the time. And he had like the party house, so like his door was like always unlocked, and there was always just kind of a couple of buddies, you know, people were in and out of there all the time. It was kind of like that 70s show. And, but like a couple of his buddies came out of the house when I pulled up and was like, "Hey man, we're about to go back road, and you want to go with us?" And they had like a bottle of whiskey. And I was like, "Sure, man. I got nothing else to do." And I needed something to stir my whiskey drink up with. And one of his buddies was a duck hunter, and he had a Mojo brand duck decoy. And he handed me like the little, the key to it, like the little thing you wind it up with, to stir my drink up with. And I don't really remember how we settled on the name, but we were on the Blacktop and the Mojo decoy, and it's a little fuzzy. But when we came back, that we were like, this is the band name, because
Nice.
we'd formed the band like a month before that or whatever. Like decided we wanted to do a band, so we were trying to think of a name that whole time, and we came back and we were like, that's the name.
I like it. Nice. So then back to some of the questions that I normally ask my guests. Who are your top 3 musical artists?
Ooh, put me on the spot. Definitely Soundgarden, Chris Cornell, or really anything Chris Cornell ever did. He's definitely my hero for sure. Led Zeppelin, probably right up there. It's hard to, in no particular order for sure. And then a third one have to be
It's hard to narrow down that.
I don't know, like Sam Cooke or something. Yeah, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many. Probably like Sam Cooke or something like that. Like a good old soul artist. I love that kind of music. I've definitely grown to love that kind of music. That's kind of what I turn on when I'm driving and stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff of the language of the heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what class do you feel should be mandatory before graduating high school today?
Oof. I don't know. I wish they taught how to do taxes in high school. That'd be really useful.
Yeah, that's like the number one answer I usually get. Finance or tax.
Yeah, they're just like, you figure this out, and if you get it wrong, you go to jail. You know?
Yeah. Well, hopefully enough people will be listening to the podcast, because that's like that comes up quite a bit. You know, we'll make some changes, but you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Trying to change Uncle Sam's a little tough.
Yeah.
They're too busy trying to change us.
For sure.
And then who are 3 people who've inspired you or you can credit for making you the person you are today?
Definitely my parents and my grandparents. They've always been super, super supportive of, you know, it's got to be tough when your kid's like, I want to do music, or I want to do some kind of entertainment thing, or like, I want to be a YouTuber. That's the thing nowadays, right?
Yeah.
That's got to be tough, but for them to just be supportive of it the whole time was a huge blessing, especially, you know, when we were starting out. And then probably my drummer, Nate. He's been he's kind of a father figure to all of us. He's watched out for us this whole time that we've been doing this, and yeah, definitely wouldn't be anywhere without him. And trying to think of a third person. I don't know. Shout out to Miss Loretta at my my old church that I used to go to. I was in the youth group, and we were at her house one time for like a youth group thing. And we were walking through the house, and she had this old acoustic guitar sitting in the corner, just a little cheap Harmony acoustic. And she was giving us like a tour of the house or whatever. And I like got lost on the tour because I just saw this acoustic guitar and picked it up and started playing it. And she's like, "Why don't you bring it outside?" And I just sat around the whole night just picking on it. I couldn't play like a lick, really. I just was messing around with it. And she was like, I went to give it back to her at the end of the night, and she said, "Why don't you take that home? That's the most guitar's been played in like 20 years. So, and I still got that guitar. So, and I went and sat out in my garage and learned how to play guitar on that thing. So definitely
that's
major influence
awesome.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah, shout
Yeah.
out to Miss Loretta, man. That I love. That's why
Wouldn't
I asked that
be
question.
doing this if not for Miss Loretta. Yeah.
Yeah, I love asking that question because it's like usually you get the standards like you said, your parents and stuff like that, but when you think about it, there's always somebody out there that's and just to encourage people. You don't know who you're going to influence, man, when you run into people. So just try and be the best, most positive, encouraging person you can be, man. So shout out Miss Loretta.
Just
Love
be
it.
cool to each other, man.
And then are there any causes or organizations that you support and encourage others to check out?
Yeah, definitely a big proponent of our veterans and stuff like that. I don't feel like they get enough love, especially when they get back from doing what they do overseas. Our buddy was an Army Ranger for years and told us about the Nine Line Foundation. They help support wounded veterans and stuff like that. So go check them out.
Nice. Well, that brings us to the next question. Any message that you have for our military members currently serving overseas?
Thank you for what you do so we can run around the country and I can scream into a microphone and have fun all the time.
Awesome. Well, yeah. Matt, it's been good talking with you, man. I'm glad we were able to make this happen, and I am kind of bummed that I'll be out in Gatlinburg, enjoying some of God's creation.
I've been there, brother.
Yeah, I've never been there yet, and it's been on my bucket list, so I'm looking forward to it, taking my daughters and stuff. So
yeah,
that just happens to be that the week you guys are coming through this time, but you've been through before. I'm sure you'll be through again, and I'll definitely have to catch you the next time around.
Absolutely, man.
And then if any of the fans out there that are like kind of new hearing about you guys or want to know more or check you out, where would you send them?
BlacktopMojo.com for pretty much everything. We're at Blacktop Mojo on all the social media stuff. And just there's links to everything on BlacktopMojo.com.
Awesome. Matt, thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate it. And have fun. I hope you catch some fish this weekend.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on, man.
All right. Take care, man.
You too, bro.
Bye.